guys doing? Oh, puffy cheeks. These are all olive eggers, so they will lay varying shades of green eggs. The majority of these are what we call F2 olive eggers, which is a second generation. So I have high hopes that these guys will lay a nice dark olive egg. These are a cross between a black copper Maran rooster and a blue Americana hen. Some of these are actual hatchery grade which olive eggers by nature are a mixed breed bird. But I have 3 existing what I call first generation olive eggers that I actually did buy from a hatchery, and then I have 2 that I purchased from a farm in Kentucky that are already laying green eggs. And so these chicks right here, the eggs that I put in the incubator were olive eggs and blue eggs. So the resulting chicks that hatch out of the blue eggs will be first generation olive eggers. And then the chicks that hatch out of the olive eggs should be second generation olive eggers, which should lay a nice dark green egg. So pretty excited to see what this batch does. It's a waiting game. They won't start laying until late February to April of next year, so we've got a little bit to wait. But these guys are only a week old. I don't know how well you can see it in the video, but they mature so fast. It never ceases to amaze me. This little one right here, see how it's starting to get little tail feathers? It's always worked for me. The baby chicks that develop tail feathers first have always ended up being hens. So if I go by that strictly, in this batch I've got about 2/3 are pullets, which is cool. So I should have a nice amount. There's about 28 chicks in here, and that was out of a batch of 35 eggs. So we had a pretty good hatch overall, and of those 35 eggs, only 3 were not fertilized. A few of them are what I call quitters. They just quit developing at some point during the 21-day process. And yeah, we had a good hatch, 28 babies in there, and from what I can see, about 2/3 of them should be girls, so we should have a nice amount of egg layers going back into our flock in the spring. So this is just a 110-gallon rubber horse trough, and I use these for chick brooders. They can also hold my big brooder plates. I'm using a heat lamp right now, which I'm actually not crazy about, but it's all I have because my brooder plate is being used elsewhere. And over time, you learn how to keep water as clean as you can, because these guys, at only a week old, they're already scratching and dust bathing and throwing sawdust everywhere. So I just have basically a cooling rack that I use for cookies. And I have it set up on 2 little pieces of wood. It's only about maybe 3 or 4 inches off the ground, but these guys have no problem jumping. And I have the water feeder sitting on top of it, so it just keeps it up off the shavings. And as you can see, they still have some shavings in it, but that's a lot better than it was, because usually I change, if I have to sit the water feeder on top of the shavings, it's dirty in an hour or 2. So this has actually been here for a few days now, so that's actually really good. And then these little cheap chick feeders work good for a while, but it does keep them from getting in there and scratching out the grains, because like I said, they're already learning how to scratch. And these guys are actually pretty active. They're just all huddled together because I'm sitting here filming them and they don't know what's going on. But when I first came out here, they were all running around and playing and eating and drinking. So, but there's our olive egger babies. I'm not going to do any more olive egger hatches this year. Probably do another one. What I'll probably do is, once these guys start laying and I know for sure what color eggs they're going to throw, then I'll make a determination on what eggs to hatch. So if I really like the F2 eggs, I'm probably only going to hatch olive eggs. So, but that's several months down the road. But yep, these are our olive egger babies, and they're doing really good.